Welcome, everybody. Just setting everything up on Instagram. Hoping your morning is off to a good start. All right. Let's get rolling. Hey, everybody. Karen Smith Frazier here, and I welcome you to episode 37 of the Karen Smith Frazier podcast, where I bring up topics that may hit home for lots of folks who have spent much of their lives taking care of other people. This could be moms, caregivers in the workforce, in the community, and I help folks move from feeling burnt out or stuck and afraid of making changes, and help them move from feeling that way to fulfilled and motivated to go after their own goals. All right. Well, today's topic is survive or thrive, embracing authenticity and human potential. Boy, that sounds kind of deep, doesn't it? Well, the topic of today's podcast was influenced by a post I saw a couple of days ago, and it was talking about animals and humans. Now, hang in there with me. Well, the premise was that animals rely on their instincts, and humans, we have instincts, but we also have the ability to reason and to make choices. Now, I know there's some animals that are trained to make choices, and there's been a lot of research about it, but we're not going there today, okay? The main focus today is how we as human beings have an opportunity to make choices that allow us to not only survive, but to thrive in this life. But one of our biggest problems is that we often forget that we have that option, and we tend to accept the status quo. We all too often allow our life circumstances or mindsets dictate our outcomes. So I'm here to kind of stir things up a little bit. Those voices in our heads that say, oh, that ain't me, or I can't do this now, or what will people think? Yes, I'm talking about this again. When I see folks stop wrestling with this topic, then I'll stop mentioning it. I mean, wouldn't it be great if I was able to end my podcasting, because everyone was paying attention to their gut instincts and going forward. But until then, you're kind of stuck with me. So I know it sounds a little bit like I'm a smart aleck today, but just listen to me a little bit, just a little bit more. Okay. So most of us begin life with expectations that of what we should be, how we should fall in line with the majority of norms in our environments. And part of it was due to doing what we're told, doing what we're told to do. But oftentimes it turns out to be more of I don't want to be an outlier. I don't want to stick out. Or to bring attention to myself or to my family if I don't do everything the way everybody else does. And there's often just a negative connotation to being uniquely different. You know what I'm saying? And I understand sometimes it's just not, it doesn't feel safe to do so. So that's why it's important to have your people. And I will talk about that a little bit more. So in order to survive, especially when we're young and impressionable, and even as we get older, we often didn't let anyone know our authentic selves. The rejection that we assumed, and sometimes was a reality, was horrible, or could be. and we concluded that pretending would be the best way to go, at least for a time. But at what point do you feel like you're going to implode? Now, my story includes some aspects of implosion that often happens when we hold in or hide what we're thinking and, and what we believe in order to please others, to not rock the boat. Uh, but many of you know about the story of my decision to change my working situation after my car accident. At that time, it had been years of ignoring a desire to use my voice in a different way, a different way to advocate and to walk aside folks who wanted more for their lives. And this is what I'm doing now as a life coach. And I'm helping my clients uncover their brilliance, and that has been hiding in plain sight for years. So growing up, our parents, our guardians told us verbally or, just by their behavior about what happiness should look like, what success should look like. And oftentimes it kind of made it so that we weren't as free to live out our lives and to follow our gut instincts and how we live out our lives. So welcome to those folks tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. So, but what if your calling or purpose is uniquely different from the norm? No matter how you try, you cannot live out someone else's calling for you, someone else's dream. Your creativity is going to squeeze out at some point, gracefully or just kind of in an explosive manner. A balloon can only take but so much stale air for so long without exploding. It's going to come out. So, you were created to create. You get to shape your environment. You get to choose. And as a Stoic Daily posted the other day, the ultimate human person has 3 levels. 1, survive and thrive physically. 2, create value and impact others. And 3, to evolve in the highest version of yourself. I believe you are capable of doing more than the number 1, strive and thrive physically, which is a great goal. But where is the best version of yourself hiding? Who gets to see that? And if you don't feel safe showing up as your best version, why is that? That's why it's so important to have your people, to have your tribe. Notice what you're noticing. Are your thoughts and past experiences derailing your future endeavors? Is someone else's opinion derailing your journey? You may ask, why am I leaving the best version of myself on the shelf? I want you to notice what you're noticing. I want you to notice what you're thinking. And while you spend too much time doing that, problems don't get solved. Your unique gifts are not being used to leave the world better than you found it. Don't let the noise, the conditions, and your current distractions derail you. So I've got some suggestions for you. All right. So 1, if you know someone who needs to hear this, please share. I would love for you to be that one that encourages someone to step into their uniqueness, to find courage, to show up authentically, at least in some spaces, as fully as themselves. You might be the one to do that. 2, if you are the one that needs to hear this, keep exploring those thoughts in your head that say halfway living is the life that you love. Is that real? Is that true? And 3, essentially, are you lying to yourself? If so, ask yourself why. Taking time to explore some of these questions and thoughts You can do it by journaling or just really just taking that time to check in with yourself. There's no judgment. Just recognize these things that may be delaying you from reaching your goals. It may literally be making you feel sick physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. It can stress you out, and sometimes it can make you physically sick. So, I got a little bit of homework for you. One, pick one thing you can do this week to move you in the direction of living life as your authentic self. It's kind of deep, huh? Put it on your calendar. I'll wait. You got something? Okay. 2, identify what places you can safely remove your mask. You can take off that protection that we often wear in public spaces, or it may be at home. Uh, what are those spaces where you can take off your mask? Who are those people that love you for you, who accept you for you? And 3 is just to remember you are a human being, not a human doing. I may not be able to tell you what your purpose in life is, but I do know that you were created to become. So get out there and take one step this week to walk into whom you are becoming. The month is almost over. September is right around the corner. So pick a day. Pick a day to restart your year. The new year doesn't have to start on January 1. It can be the start. It can start today. And decide to strive and not just survive. So if you want to explore this topic more, if you can put Thrive in the chat, and I can set up a time on my calendar to chat with you a bit. But in the meantime, I am wishing you a fantastic week, a blessed start to your week, and I continue to encourage you to not delay. Unleash your brilliance, uncover your light. The world is waiting for you. Have a great day.